Michael Wolff, Fire and Fury, Inside the Trump White House. Get ready to dive into the chaotic and intriguing world of the Trump White House with our summary of Fire and Fury, Inside the Trump White House, by Michael Wolff. Prepare to be captivated as we reveal insider information on the 2016 election, the dynamics between Trump's staff and the unpreparedness of the administration and its key members. Focusing on the strained relationships, power struggles, and key policy debates, this summary will provide a glimpse into the inner workings of the Trump presidency.
Unanticipated victory. Shockwaves ran through everyone, even Trump himself, when he won the 2016 U.S. presidential election. The campaign team was preparing for life post-election, believing Trump would ultimately lose. The lack of preparedness for the White House was evident in the transition period, as those with potentially problematic financial backgrounds would soon face scrutiny. The victory, though unanticipated, set the stage for a tumultuous administration. The 2016 U.S. presidential election took the world by surprise when Donald Trump, with no political experience, emerged as the victor. Trump and his campaign team, including his wife, Melania, didn't expect the win, and they all looked forward to returning to their normal lives in November. Melania was eager to step out from under the prying eyes of the media and escape the constant buzz around her husband's past misdeeds. The campaign's overall disbelief in Trump's chances led them to focus on post-election plans. Trump wanted to allege that the election had been stolen from him while launching his television channel, the Trump Network. Campaign manager Kellyanne Conway aimed to continue her career in the world of cable news networks. This unpreparedness was further highlighted as shady financial backgrounds and dealings soon came under intense scrutiny for Trump and some of his campaign associates like Paul Manafort. Manafort had joined the campaign based on the reassurance from Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law and advisor, that there would be no victory and, as a result, no investigations into Manafort's background. As the results rolled in, declaring Trump the winner, a sense of disbelief gripped his inner circle and staff. Only Trump advisor Steve Bannon and pollster John McLaughlin had a sense that the numbers were turning in their favor. The majority, however, was ill-prepared for the consequential events that would follow the unanticipated victory. Clashing visions in the White House. After Trump's election, Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump found themselves at odds with Steve Bannon, each having different visions for the administration. Bannon, a staunch advocate for economic nationalism, wanted to focus on a trade war with China and disengage from Middle East conflicts. Meanwhile, Kushner and Ivanka, with strong connections to Israel and influential businesspeople, aimed to resolve the Israel-Palestine situation and pursue Trump's democratic inclinations. Despite their disagreements, both Bannon and the couple soon realized that managing Trump's presidency proved to be a difficult task. The dynamics within the White House took an interesting turn once Trump was elected. Steve Bannon, who had been quite friendly with Jared Kushner during the campaign, shifted gears. It became clear that Bannon's vision for the Trump administration revolved around economic nationalism, including a trade war with China and disentangling the United States from complex foreign situations, such as Middle East conflicts. On the other side, Kushner and Ivanka Trump, often sarcastically referred to as Jarvanka, had contrasting goals. They sought to leverage Trump's democratic tendencies and focus on striking significant deals in the Middle East, especially around the Israel-Palestine issue. With close connections to key figures like Israel's prime minister and prominent businesspeople in the region, the couple held substantial influence. However, no one was prepared for the challenge of managing an unpredictable and unmanageable Trump presidency. Bannon's shock and awe strategy. Propelled by his background in Breitbart Media and the vision of small government and pro-Christian America shared by Rob and Rebecca Mercer, Steve Bannon played a crucial role in shaping the early days of Trump's presidency. As a central figure in the ultra-conservative, alt-right movement, Bannon sought to demonstrate Trump's dominance in the political sphere through the use of executive orders, EOs. Aiming to issue 200 EOs within the first 100 days, Bannon tackled immigration with a controversial ban targeting countries with predominantly Muslim populations. Trump's disdain for bureaucracy, combined with his staff's lack of experience in creating policy, made EOs an attractive strategy for the fledgling administration. Bannon's focus on evoking strong reactions, whether positive or negative, was a reflection of his clickbait media background where any click, regardless of sentiment, held value. Tug of War, Bannon vs. Jarvanka. Amid the controversy surrounding Trump's travel ban, the president sought approval from Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, hosts of MSNBC's Morning Joe. Disregarding protests and separated families, Trump felt satisfied with the outcome. Within the White House, Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump, dubbed Jarvanka, sought to curb Trump's impulses by offering alternatives to Stephen Bannon's radical strategies. Bannon, however, cleverly made sure he had the last word in conversations with the president. The consistent conflict between Bannonites and Jarvankaists led to ongoing chaos in the administration. Jarvanka tried to gain Trump's favor by involving Gary Cohn and Dina Powell from Goldman Sachs, which the president respected. While Cohn and Powell knew the risks of joining Trump's team, they hoped to have a positive impact. Their influence was briefly seen when Trump delivered a speech to Congress that momentarily made him appear presidential, a moment that left Bannon dismayed. Title: Clash of White House Titans. The infamous Comey firing. As whispers of the Trump campaign colluding with the Russian government emerged in mid-2016, mounting evidence continued to surface, culminating in the Steele dossier, which alleged damning connections between President Trump and Russian operatives. In January 2017, FBI findings supported these claims, revealing Russia's interference in the 2016 elections, a consensus also reached by the CIA and the NSA. Displeased with the ongoing probe, Jared Kushner encouraged Trump to consider firing FBI Director James Comey, against Steve Bannon's advice. Despite being counseled by Attorney General Jeff Sessions to be patient, Trump impulsively fired Comey on May 10, 2017, leaving Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein to provide justification for the termination. In a move to counter Trump's hasty decision, Rosenstein appointed former FBI Director Robert Mueller as special counsel to investigate the potential ties between Trump and Russia. Not a reader, consequences and coping. It is widely known that President Trump avoids reading, which has led to speculation about potential learning disabilities. This aversion has caused White House staff to accommodate his preference for simpler forms of information, such as television news, visuals, and summaries. Staff members work around his limitations, knowing that this approach might be more effective in engaging him. An example of this can be seen in his response to a chemical weapon attack in Syria following Ivanka's presentation of a video that compelled him to react. Donald Trump's reluctance to read has raised suspicions of reading difficulties or dyslexia among the White House staff. Nevertheless, they have learned to adapt and present him with information that complements his preferred method of learning. Trump's former assistant, Hope Hicks, was assigned the task of summarizing news articles and presenting them in a positive light. Trump's reading aversion is particularly concerning due to the critical role it plays in comprehending and responding to complex global issues. For instance, during the 2017 chemical weapon attack in Syria, General H.R. McMaster attempted to brief Trump on the situation, but was met with resistance. Trump's disinterest in the in-depth information proved frustrating for both McMaster and Trump himself. To bypass Trump's reading resistance, White House staff often rely on alternative modes of information delivery. Television news, images, and summarizations are the most effective ways to engage his attention. Ivanka Trump exemplified this strategy by creating a video with footage from the chemical weapon attack in Syria. The video managed to evoke a strong response from Trump, ultimately leading to a retaliatory strike on the Syrian airfield. The staff's ability to adapt to Trump's preference for simpler formats is a testament to their commitment to providing the president with essential information. By tailoring their communication style, they have found ways to navigate the inherent challenges his aversion presents, ensuring that he remains informed and able to make informed decisions. Drama amidst Russia investigation. In early June, Trump became increasingly irritated over the Russia investigation, considering the dismissal of Jeff Sessions and Robert Mueller, with Rudy Giuliani or Chris Christie as potential replacements. However, Bannon emphasized the unlikelihood of either candidate receiving confirmation approval and clarified that executive privilege wouldn't protect Trump from investigation. Bannon rejoiced on June 1 when Trump, disregarding Ivanka's stance, withdrew the U.S. from the Paris Climate Agreement. However, another obstacle appeared in July when the New York Times revealed that Donald Trump Jr. had arranged a meeting with Russian lobbyists, a former Kremlin agent, and associates of Russian oligarch heiress Agalarov in 2016 to obtain detrimental information on Hillary Clinton. Bannon expressed disbelief at Trump Jr.'s tactless choice of Trump Tower for the rendezvous, which amplified suspicions around the Russia investigation. Regarding this news, Trump, along with Hope Hicks and Jared Kushner, crafted a response suggesting the meeting was centered around Russian adoption policy. Bannon found their disregard for the legal team's advice and Hicks' potential implication in obstruction of justice to be astonishingly ill-advised. Trump's habit of blame. President Trump has demonstrated difficulty accepting responsibility for issues within his administration, often attributing blame to others. His use of Twitter to publicly disparage individuals has generated controversy. As a result, relationships with key figures in the White House, such as Steve Bannon, have deteriorated. Since his departure, Bannon has considered other opportunities within presidential politics and doubts Trump's chances for re-election. In various instances, President Trump exhibits a pattern of deflecting accountability for his administration's problems. For example, he considered the situation with Russia as entirely the fault of Jeff Sessions, instead of taking any responsibility. Trump's tendency to post impulsive tweets targeting those he perceives to have wronged him has additionally provoked widespread criticism. Despite the backlash, he often dismisses or downplays the severity of these tweets. One notorious case included the president's comment on co-host Mika Brzezinski's appearance during a private event, which resulted in shock and indignation. However, Trump shrugged off the reactions, claiming the hosts appreciated the attention for their show's ratings. Similarly, his unscripted speeches have caused unease among listeners. Taking this impulse a step further, Trump gave an unplanned interview to the New York Times in July 2017, where he challenged Sessions and Robert Mueller. These actions left strategist Steve Bannon increasingly exasperated, leading him to label Trump as the most undisciplined politician in history. Tensions between Bannon and the president only grew with the release of Joshua Green's book, The Devil's Bargain, which credited Bannon for Trump's electoral victory. Eventually, Bannon was fired and has since considered other ventures in presidential politics. He has also expressed doubts about Trump's chances of being re-elected, believing there is a 33.3% chance of impeachment and emphasizing that Trump is unlikely to serve another term.
In summary, Fire and Fury offers a fascinating insight into the unexpected victory of Donald Trump and the subsequent turmoil within the White House staff. The book highlights the tensions between key players like Steve Bannon and Jarvanka, as well as the administration's shocking unpreparedness and disorganization. The difficulty in controlling and managing Trump, as well as the implications of the ongoing Russia investigation, are central themes of the narrative. This whirlwind journey into the Trump White House leaves readers in awe of its continuous chaos and serves as a reminder to always expect the unexpected in politics.